Hey guys, hope you're doing good. So if you haven't noticed, we're in a different space. Yeah, new year, new space. I'm just kidding. It's not a new space. It's just outside my room because it has way better lighting at night than my room does. Oh, there's not so great for audio, but we're just gonna have to work with what we have. Um, Happy New Year, first of all. It's a new year, new space, new goals. If you have goals for the new year, if you don't, that's fine. Don't have to have goals every new year. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about or showing you how I edit my photos, how you see the photos you see on Instagram, the process. Never really shared any processes of how I do any of these things, but today we shall see how I edit my photos. So I use Adobe Photoshop Lightroom Classic, and this is the photo I'll be editing. I posted this recently on my Instagram. This is the final photo on my laptop, and this is the before. This is how I shot it. And there's two parts to how I edit my photos. Not all the time, but in this case there is, and I do want to implement the second part more often. There's a phone aspect and there's how I edit it on my laptop. I'm going to show you both, but we'll start on the laptop because that comes first. So we're just going to look at this. I'm going to try to match these looks. I'm not going to get it perfectly. I'm going to miss a few things, little adjustments here and there, but I'm going to try my best to get them to look the same. And if it doesn't look the same, that's okay, So first of all, we're going to open, we're going to open the basic panel that's already open. So this is where you control like lighting, exposure, how dark an image is, how bright it is in your photos. And as you can see exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows. These different things control those aspects of the photo. And I'm just going to start with the shadows. And you can see it brings up all the dark spots in my photo. Makes it brighter in the spot area and spots. Then I'm going to bring up highlights, but not too much. I think I'm going to take off my whites too. The entire point of this is just to kind of get it a bit brighter than I shot it, because how I shot it didn't look so pleasing to the eye or at the perfect exposure. And then I'm going to, yeah, that looks good so far. I don't know if I want to bring up the exposure here, but let's just leave it as it is. Now, I don't usually have like a step-by-step process when I edit this photos or the photos I do edit. I just go with the flow and see what comes out. Now, I don't like the way this yellow is looking. I didn't like it when I posted it. I mean, I like the way it came out, but this yellow is too much. It's ruining my skin. I don't like it. And I'm kind of that skin tone person. I like your skin tone to be kind of right in the photos. So I'm going to take out the yellow by going to the HSL panel and just kind of toning it down. Oh, that's orange, okay. Go to yellow and just kind of tone it down to basically, just take on most of the yellow. And that's starting to look less yellow. And then we can bring some of the highlights. Maybe we could go back to your basic panel and bring the highlights a tad bit down. Yeah, just a little bit. And now, yeah, that's starting to look kind of similar. We could check. Yeah, we're getting there. We're not there yet, but we're less yellow than we were, and that's a start. Now I'm going to go into tone curve. This is another way of controlling your lights and darks, your exposure, your brightness, and your darkness in your photos. But this, I want to say it's more detailed and more specific at what it changes depending on what part of your graph you're on. So I'm going to make 3 points, and this is like a basic rule of third. You don't have to follow this rule, but it helps you control the 3 sections of your image, or the 3 sections of any image, which is your darks, your midtones, and your lights. Your midtones is kind of the middle section. Your lights, as it says, is the brighter parts of your images, and your darks are the darker parts of your images. And then I'm just going to take up my shadows or darks and take it up a little bit, not too much. And then I'm going to take the midtones and just bring it this way. And give him a smaller muted look from the final image. We don't really have to play with our highlights or our lights. They kind of are fine, but there's nothing wrong with moving them a bit to see what they do, It's a lot of experimentation when it comes to editing, and it's okay to move things around. You can always just place them back. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just leave the words and now let's see how far we've come with that. Yeah, it's starting to look more like it. I think mine is all a little bit bright, so even though that wasn't the goal to make it look the same, I'm just going to try to bring it down a bit. Yeah, I think there we go. That's starting to look more like it. I need to understand a bit, just a little. Yeah, there we go. It's starting to look more like it. Yeah, we're starting to get there. We're starting to get that look that I started with. I'm noticing a bit of slant in my photos, so I'm just going to correct that because we want our photos to be straight. Yeah, and you can just hit transform and auto, and most times it gets it right. Sometimes you might need to do a little bit more tweaking depending on the images. And yeah, starting to look more nice, more of the way I like it to look. And I don't know, I'm feeling like these highlights should come up a bit because I want the light source to be the brightest parts, and then I don't want the light to spread though, so I just will come to my highlights and just bring them up a little bit. Maybe even take this down a tad bit more. Yeah, okay, that's starting to look I think it's the way I actually prefer. And yeah, there we go. It basically looks almost similar. There's probably a few things I'm missing. And this is how I edit my photos. There are other tools here that I could have played with, but I wasn't really going too deep. This was kind of one of my simple edits. Sometimes it does take me longer to edit. And now I'm going to export this photo and get it on my computer. So I'm just going to name it the title, thumbnail of this video. Oh, I said thumbnail. I'm just going to name it the title of this video. And then these are my settings. I want it in a JPEG because that's how it's going to end up on Instagram, and that's like an Instagram format that accepts. The color space is sRGB because it's going on the internet, and that's like the color space for the internet, and because it's a web picture. Quality at 100. Yeah, sharpen for screen. That's where you want it to be, and the amount of sharpening is standard. You never really want to make your sharpening too much unless it makes the photos look weird. No watermarking it, and I'm not doing anything in post-processing. Now we can just name it, choose the file we want to save it to, that's accurate, and just wait for it to export. This already have this as a file. I'm just going to change the name and override it maybe. And while that exports, I'm going to switch over to my phone and show you the last process, the spice on top of the photo, just the little things I do just to give it a little bit of sauce, I guess, if that's what we're calling sauce. And yeah, so now I'm on the phone and I usually use the VSCO app. I don't use it a lot, but I do use it every now and then. I'm going to open it. Here's my photo. I'm going to edit. And so I'm going to go to the second menu bar, call it whatever you want. I'm going to go to grain, because I did say I wanted to give it some kind of a film-like look. So that's why I'm doing this. So we're going to go to grain. Take it to like, I think 2.5. Usually you can just play with this and see what looks good, but I don't want to add too much, so I'll leave it around 2.5. And then I'll go back to presets, and then in the essential tab there's this filter. Now this is way too extreme for how I like, and this filter is called Hype Beast, by the way, if you're ever looking for it. I don't know why, but it's called that. And so I'm going to dial this down because this is way too much for me. And I'll dial it till around 3, maybe? Yeah, I think 3 is a good place. And that's like literally it. And now I'm just going to save it to my camera roll, crop it, and post it to Instagram. Okay, so basically that's how I edit my photos. I'm going to leave it up here for y'all to see the final photo. I'll even make a comparison of the one I did post on IG and the one I just edited for you guys. I hope you got to see how I create my photos. You know, I never really share any of my processes with anyone. Not because they're special or anything, I just haven't. And this is kind of a start, so hopefully you get to see more of these in the future. I'll work on that. And yeah, that's about it. I have not really much to say. Also, kind of sorry about the interactivity in my videos. I'm trying to work on it, not the best in front of the camera. So yeah, I'll get on that, I'll work on that. But thank you for sticking around up to this point. It's 11 something. I'm going to get ready for school tomorrow. I have to go to bed because, you know, I have school tomorrow. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.